Be careful, Valentina, they're saying you're pretty confident, but here in MMA I ain't the one that you want a problem with, so stop it, bitch, or Joanna gon' have to drop a bitch. I ain't about to lose and go out like my homegirl Ronda did. But speaking of losing, how about you and Amanda Nunes? She beat you twice, and for this fight she's teaching I'm the student, never truant, cause I really wanna beat you, I'ma do it. When I do, please don't go to the media with excuses. I know you beat me in Muay Thai, but this is different. This is more than throwing punches, knees and kicks and clinching. This is more like war. These motherfucking chicks is vicious, and anything goes. I don't fear any of these hoes, not even Rose, Tatiana, just Andrade, or Cyborg. If you're trying to frighten me, then you should try more. When we fight, we'll get it poppin' like July 4th. At UFC 231, you're gonna die, whore. It's the fight game that I adore. I gave up everything to fight these wars, to become the greatest fighter in the world. So I hope you get what you're paying for. Be careful with me. Do you know who you're fighting? About my legacy or about my striking? You might beat these other girls around the world, but they ain't nothing like me. Be careful with me. Yeah. It's not a threat, it's a warning. Be careful with me. Yeah, I'm writing some bad words and your name on a water bottle. Be careful with me. Be careful with me. Shout out to the full-time family. Be careful with me.
Best welterweight in the world. Oh God. Slick move quick like a vato. One hand behind back with my eyes closed. You can't fuck with me, yeah, I know. Look, I'll beat your ass. I'll beat your ass. I'll beat your ass. I'll beat your ass. I'll beat him on God though. Talk slick, move quick like a vato. One hand behind my back with my eyes closed. You can't fuck with me, yeah, I know. Look,
I'll beat him like a black belt. If a nigga fuck with me, then he assed out. I'ma sit his ass down, back against the wall, then I maxed out. If you want smoke, I'm a gas cloud. No time for you class clowns, cause my bitch got her ass out. And she wiggling, wobbling, and she moving, and she shaking it for me. And now these niggas getting mad now, probably cause they salty and they jealous cause they really ain't been making no money. Hold up, let me go on and switch my flow up. That's why everybody know us. Cause we throw them from the shoulders like some motherfucking soldiers. And I thought we fucking told ya. We ain't choose this life, it chose us. We do you like a pipe and smoke ya. Pause. I don't wanna talk, I just wanna break your jaw.
I'll beat your ass. I'll beat your ass. I'll beat your ass. I'll beat your ass. I'll beat him on God though. Talk slick, move quick like a vato. One hand behind back with my eyes closed. You can't fuck with me, yeah, I know. Look, I'll beat your ass. I'll beat your ass. I'll beat your ass. I'll beat your ass.
This is Shmally, and you're watching Full-Time MMA. Don't be a bagel biting, bagel bitch boy, bagel bitch back.
It is time to start the show, Full-Time Family. This is a special show. Normally, this show would be over on the Patreon because, what is it, Thursday? And we're doing our YouTube shows on Friday. But it's a good day, Full-Time Family. We're bringing a new, fun, idea to the show that was brought by the Full-Time family. I said, it's actually fucking dope. I know a lot of people liked the Full-Time fake money bankroll, and I took that off because we're shadow banned, and I don't like the idea of like promoting people. Actually, I love the idea of it, but I know it's probably not good. Promoting people like not gambling. I know it sounds like smart, right? But that might be why we're shadow banned. I don't know. But what I'm saying is, I don't like. I moved it to Patreon, you know, because it's a fake money thing. We did really well, but honestly, with the changes to the new UFC website, I was gonna have to shut that down anyway. So let's get to the new idea, Full-Time family. Boom, boom, boom. This was a comment that I read before the live stream. Somebody was like, yo, Full-Time, what happened to the fake money bankroll? Well, then they proposed this idea. They said you should you should actually bet on the fights, but like a Full-Time family thing, just something fun. We're not going crazy. We're not betting the farm. We ain't betting much of shit because we don't got much to bet. But what we're going to do is we're just going to, every fight card, have a small little fucking fund. Like right now, you see that $5 right there? I put the first $5 in. I don't got much, but I put 5 in. So what we're going to use that $5 for is this week, Holloway versus Ortega, UFC 231. We're going to go to the fight card, and we're going to look at like some of the odds, just having some fun. And we're going to make a bet with the $5 we have. And if somebody donates throughout the show and they want it to go toward the bankroll, then we're going to up it. We might have $10 by UFC 231. Who knows? Maybe somebody fucking just like, hey, man, Full-Time family, here's 15, and then we'll have $20 to bet on the fights. It's going to make the fights that much funner when we're doing our fight companion, and it's just going to be super dope. And so I love the idea. We're not doing nothing crazy. We're not being a degenerate gambler. We're just going to have like one bet every week, one fucking bet. Full-Time family's going to give their input, and we're going to just have some fucking fun with this. So we're at $5 right now, and if you were asking me, since I'm the only one that's put money in, I would personally like to either bet on Max Holloway or Kyle Bochniak this week. Those are my two favorite probably bets. Maybe Jimmy Manawa, but Bochniak or Holloway for me. So with the $5 this weekend, we might fuck around and put that $5 on Max Holloway. And if he wins, we might turn it into like 10. And then we'll have $10 next week. You know, if we lose, we'll see what happens. I love the idea. Hopefully we have some fun with the guys. With that being said, that's the new fight night bankroll. We're going to start that out, even if, like I said, even if it's $2 every fucking fight card. It's going to be funner. We got $2 on Holloway, boys. Let's go. So it's going to be fun. I started off with the first 5, and I really don't care. I just think it's I'm already having fun with this shit. So let's get to it, man. Let's get to the show. What we're going to be doing today, talking about some upcoming fights. We're going to save some for tomorrow's show. We're going to really break down UFC 231 tomorrow. We'll actually choose where we're going to place our bet on tomorrow's show. But today, we're going to do a brief overview, talk about some of the crazy news going on, current events in MMA, and then I'll be out your hair. I got a lot of work coming up, too. So, you know, the show is probably be about an hour, maybe a little less. So, either way, man, I'm just feeling good right now. It's a good fucking day, Full-Time family, and I don't know if it's just because I'm having fun with the thought of this new Fight Night bankroll, or if it's just because it's a fucking good day. So salute to the Full-Time family, man. Let's pull up the chat. Let's fucking give some shout-outs to the family. Marcus Bell, Poo Poo Man, dropping by to leave a like before he clocks in. Salute to the Poo Poo Man. Mr. Perfect 2005 says salute to the Full-Time fam. Man, I miss the old days when we had a show every day. I actually have to watch Ariel Helwani's show now. Yeah, I think... Yeah, their mission was accomplished, right? We get fucking shadow banned. It takes away from the incentive and the motivation and everything to really just continue grinding like we were. Bro, I was putting like 60 hours a week into YouTube for like no return. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, of course, the Patreon and the smaller donations, but I was probably doing too much for this to not actually be my job. So we had to scale back a little bit, man. But honestly, I feel like maybe that's why I'm in such a fucking good mood now. Because, like, yo, we rocking with the Full-Time family. We're back in effect. What's up, everybody? Nicholas Moss says, what's up, MMA Full-Time? What's going on, Nicholas? My motherfucking dog. Stamina MC in the building. What's going on, brother? Connor Lodge. Georgie Drivishville says, here we go. From Charlotte, Georgia. Salute to Georgia. Jacob De La Cruz says Kareem Hunt didn't even kick that chick hard, dude. Man, don't get me started on my motherfucking boy, dude. I saw the video. What the fuck? I know we're in a fucking day and age where clearly domestic violence, no. Fucking man hit a woman. No. Shame. I get that. No matter what the excuse is, I don't give a fuck if she fucked your dad and your brother at the same time, sent you a picture of the cum shot. You can't touch her. We get it. But motherfucking, I saw that video. When I heard about the video, I was like, damn, he must have beat this chick down pretty bad. One of the best fucking running backs in the league getting released from the league. He must have beat her down in the video. Ooh. Didn't know what I was going to see. Unless the video I saw was clipped, I seen some chick come up to him, say some shit in his face. Who knows what it could have been? My guess, N-word. Doesn't matter. It's a woman, I get it. Came up to him in his face, slapped him in his face. Put yourself in clearly. The right answer is never to hit the woman. It's always to walk away. I get it, right? Fucking, but let me tell you something, though. These women don't get off all the way free. I get it. That's in a domestic violence situation. But you motherfucking bitches, whenever you find out your man cheats on you, I don't want you fucking breaking windows, slicing tires, burning clothes, doing none of that shit. It's emotional, right? Our emotions are high. If your significant other that you've fucking spent time, money, everything you can imagine on to build with, and they throw all that shit away, and you don't understand that shit, that's a very emotional time. Anytime people let their emotions get the best of them, it's a bad thing. So imagine just your emotions at an all-time high, but you still have to behave like a fucking perfect citizen. It doesn't happen. Or that's why that's why there is domestic violence half the fucking time, because there's so much emotions that go into it. Finances, everything goes into it. So, I get it. Yeah, whenever your chick cheats on you, you definitely should not put your hands on her. But motherfucking when you cheat on her, your life shouldn't get ruined. You shouldn't get your job called, fired from your job because she wants to lie. She'll lie to the motherfucking police, burn your clothes, cut your clothes. All this shit's cool, though. But a dude can't even give a stiff arm. Clearly, clearly don't break a chick's fucking orbital bone. Don't do nothing excessive. But you can't even stiff arm the chick away. She comes up to you, you motherfucking bitch, nigger, motherfucker. Bow! Slaps you in the face. And you gotta eat that shit and walk away. Can't cut up her clothes, because for one, that's bitch-like. That's what a chick would do. What the fuck? What is a man to do, man? But no, that Kareem Hunt's some bullshit. Now, then clearly there's different situations. It's not black and white. I'm not saying the Kareem Hunt shit seemed a little light. But then you look at another situation where fucking Rachel Ostovich has her orbital bone broke. That's excessive. Like I said, I don't give a fuck how bad the cheating was, how much money you lost, even though I'm telling you right now, I'm saying that. I don't know if I believe that. Bro, there's people that have a relationship, you have kids, you've got finances, you've got everything you've worked to build with this one person, for that to all come crashing. You cannot tell me how somebody's supposed to respond in every situation that is different. Boy, but what I saw in that Kareem Hunt video, Jacob De La Cruz, was not enough to lose your livelihood. Please send me the director's cut if I'm missing something. All I seen was a chick get up in a dude's face, screaming some shit, slapped him in the face, and he pushed her back. Clearly he was pissed off. His homies were like, yo, I know she just slapped you in the face and probably dropped the N-bomb or whatever she said, but bro, you're going to lose your job. He's a fucking running back. He's known for getting through people. I don't give a fuck who his best friends were, unless it's the whole fucking Broncos defensive line. You're not keeping Kareem Hunt back. But he still restrained himself somewhat for it to not be like broken orbitals. Like, it would have been way worse, right? So it is what it is. I'm always going to have a different stance on that than probably what's popular publicly. But hey, it is what it is. Fuck me, right? That's why we're shadow banned. Let's go. DC is a big fat loser, says LA knows how to party. One of these days I'm going to fucking visit LA and I'm going to see what you talking about. Hey. Cutter Lodge says, that's what I'm talking about. Can I buy equity in the bankroll so when we win, we split the profits? I don't know how none of that shit works, or I would say yeah. But I've already told people, if y'all want your boy Big Full Time to kind of help you with some of this betting advice, let me know. You know what I'm saying? We had the success we had on the fake money bankroll is unprecedented. We turned $500 into 15 fucking thousand. Just being a fucking malook over here, MMA YouTuber. Like, come on, man. Pretty impressive. But now, with the new change to the UFC's website, I can't really see all the stats from each fight, the fight metrics, the takedowns, the strikes landed. I loved being able to see that for every fighter. Now, I'm kind of like, ooh, that's why I'm having to stop doing there's no way I'm going to go watch, like, there's 15 fights on a card starting at the early prelims. In order to correctly break down these fights and have some sort of success, I need to know their style of fighting without spending 10 hours on every fighter. I don't want to have to go back and let's look at these early prelims. I don't want to have to fucking go back and watch 5 of Chad LaPrize's fights to really get a good idea of how he fights. I don't want, this back a couple weeks ago with the old UFC website, I could just see Chad LaPrize. 5 fights in the UFC, 4 takedowns in this fight, 4 takedowns in this fight, outstruck in this fight. Oh, he's more of a grappler. And it really helps when you go and you look at Diego Lima and you're like, oh, he was taken down 4 times in each of his last fights. That really helped me a lot seeing those fight metrics, and now that they're gone, I'm not promising near the same amount of success that I was having because those helped me a lot. But on the main card and big bets, we can still have some fun. Fucking Brian Ortega, like main cards, I'm feeling good. I love the Kyle Bochniak. He's an underdog. Gunnar Nelson, a little bit of a favorite. I like him. Like, I can still do some smacking, dog, but the as far as the fight bankroll, I don't know near enough about equity even to be talking about what you're talking about. That sounds like some rich people shit. Let's go, though. Tremaine Flim in the building. What's going on? Dominick Cruz would pick an easy comeback fight. He says, Lineker isn't trash if you stand and bang, but you mix your strikes with takedowns. He's easy work. Yo, at least he's fighting, man. At least he's fighting. He was scheduled to fight Jimmy Rivera, got injured, had to pull out of the fight, called out TJ, didn't get the fight, so now he's got to fight someone else. Dominick Cruz, he's a legend of the sport. I mean, is it the best fighting the best? No, you're probably onto something, Tremaine Flim, 100%. You're probably onto something. But it's one of those situations where you give someone the benefit of the doubt because of their legacy and everything they've done for the sport. Dominick Cruz has done a lot. One of the greatest bantamweights of all time. Do I expect him to come in here and fight every fucking killer in a row until he gets his title shot? No, it's politics. It's business. You got to do what's smart. Dominick Cruz is going to probably fight a winnable fight because he knows no matter what, he's always one fight away from the title shot. So, I'm with you, Tremaine Flim, but either way, Dominick Cruz, man, it's good to see him booked in a fight and not just sitting out waiting. I like that. So I'm looking forward to Cruz versus Lineker, but I'm not going to lie. Of course, I would love to see Cruz versus Rivera or Cruz versus Moraes, but Moraes is now fighting a Sunset, it seems. So, yeah, man, we will see. Looking forward to it. Jacob De La Cruz says Florian already ruined it for Holloway. No! And Drake. God damn it. Well, that takes away from our Holloway bet. We're going to be betting on Kyle Bochniak with this 5, guys, because there's no way I can confidently put any money on Max Holloway knowing that he's currently affected by the Drake curse and he was picked by Ken Flo. There's no way I can safely put money on Max Holloway now. So that takes that bet away. Fuck. Roland Champ says, where can we place bets for fight nights? There's probably websites like fucking MyBookie, MyBookie, eBay. I mean, there's probably a couple of them. I got one that somebody hooked me up with, and honestly, I don't even know, like, it's not one of the mainstream ones, so I don't even know, like, if I should put it out there, because I don't want to blow up their spot. But, yeah, there's online websites you can bet on and shit like that, so one of the ones I always hear about on MMA websites and such, like, is the one you hear about on Chael Sonnen's BetDSI or MyBookie you hear about on Joey Diaz's podcast and shit like that. So check out BetDSI or MyBookie if you're looking for somewhere to bet on some fights. Mr. Perfect says, I know, brother, full time. I understand, bro. Man. Stamina, she says, 233 going to end up having a Woodley Till sort of matchup after the frantic scrambling from the UFC. Just another day in the age of the UFC, man. You get a good card, it looks great. Fucking, you're rubbing your hands like Birdman. Ooh, this looks like the best card ever. Then you start seeing injuries. Boom, 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 boom. It's still a good card, but half the fights done been moved into the future. Stamina MC says, I'm aware. I meant as matchups as random as that. Not one that specifically involves him. Nicholas Moss says, Woodley still recovering from that hand injury. Yeah, man. Looking forward to that fight once it finally gets put together. Covington versus Woodley. Tremaine Flynn says, I think Marlon Moraes will get the belt. Yo, he's fighting Rafael Sunsao, I believe, for an interim title. And, man, if he wins that, I mean, I'm very impressed with Marlon Moraes and what he's been able to do even just in the, in the UFC so far. I mean, so for sure it's proven that he's one of the most dangerous bantamweights in the world. Cruz versus Lineker, says Leon Dubison. Oh, yeah, Cruz got to be careful, mix up his strikes. I mean, he's got to put together a very well-rounded game plan, which, of course, he can do. One of the smartest fucking fighters on the planet. Panel tomorrow night, says Forward. Tonight or tomorrow. Yeah, we'll do one tomorrow. We'll do one tomorrow at the end of the live stream, for sure. Or, like, in the middle or something like that. We'll do one tomorrow. Jacob De La Cruz says, I'm scared to start betting. I have what they call an addictive personality. Oh, Jacob De La Cruz, you don't. Me and you were like brothers already. Again, yeah. I've got an addictive personality. It don't even matter if it's something that's not addictive, like fucking weed. Good fucking luck. Like, if I have to quit, right, I quit. Like, okay, you're getting put on diversion. You want to get your fucking record cleared of this stupid-ass little charge. You got to quit smoking. And even then, I'm a week late. Like, all right, goddamn it, I guess I have to quit today. But I'm with you, bro. As far as addictive personality, whoo! Don't get me fucking started. Don't get me started. So, yeah, if you got an addictive personality, gambling's definitely not for you, especially if you're not very good at it, which even if you're good at it, you're not very good at it. Gambling is a motherfucker. You got to dedicate a lot of time and effort and energy if you're actually trying to profit. But one of the things gambling is better for is having fun. It makes everything. It doesn't matter if it's a fight you don't care about. It doesn't matter if it's a fucking football game you don't care about. Let's say you're not an NFL fan, but you're fucking one of your friends is. And you know who the Packers are and you know who the Patriots are. Well, your friend's like, oh, man, you know he's a fucking Packers fan. And you're like, motherfucker, I got you $5 that the Packers get their shit stomped tonight. And boom, you shake hands, and now all of a sudden you, who really don't give a fuck about the NFL, you're tuning into Packers-Patriots to win $5. And I'm telling you that shit. So it makes shit funner. It's a lot better to gamble if you've got a consistent income coming in, you got a good job, and you got a little bit of money to risk and potentially lose. But if you need to make some money, don't gamble. Preach full time. Yes, sir, Jacob De La Cruz. And research, says Jay Skills. Oh, yeah. And research. It takes research and all of that. That's why we were able to turn 500 into 15,000. But now it's going to be 10 times harder to do fucking research with the new UFC website. Like, I need a website where they've got those fight metrics. Like the old UFC. It's, now I'm only betting on the fights I feel good about. Like Max Holloway, honestly, even though he's got the Drake curse, the Ken Flo prediction, he's got everything stacked against him. It's just hard for me to pick against Max Holloway. It's hard. I don't know if I'd put money on him, but I'm not going to put money on fucking Ortega either. I'll tell you that much. If I'm putting money on anybody in this fight, it would be Holloway, and where I'm leaving it alone. I mean, Ortega's got a good chance, but it's even. Who's the better fighter? Max Holloway. But the intangibles are why Max Holloway, it's even fight. Max Holloway has more UFC experience than Ortega has fights, but we know Ortega's dangerous. We know about his ability to come back in fights and always be down but never out. We know about his ability now versus Frankie Edgar to knock out a very tough opponent in the first round. He doesn't just have to choke you out. It doesn't have to be a comeback. He can knock you out in the first round. We know about Max Holloway's health concerns, the Drizzy curse, the Ken Flo prediction. I mean, but as far as fighting's concerned, I got Max. If he's 100% healthy coming into this, I got Max. If Ortega wins for me, there's probably going to be a rematch, and I probably still got Max. This is kind of like, it's much different because Brian Ortega, in my mind, going into it, had a much better chance of winning than even Rose did. But Rose won, and she won twice. So Ortega could come in here, beat Max, rematch, beat him again. Wouldn't be surprised. I would be a little surprised. I would chalk it up to Max Holloway's health probably. But either way, man. Remove Lizard said, I just do small friendly bets. Even then, I need to check myself. 100% remove Lizard. That's wise. Like small friendly bets, or like if you're feeling spicy, like a small parlay. You might not even know what those are if you're new to it. But like one of my friends, he don't bet at all, but he's actually got a decent job, so he can. But one day he was like, "Yo, what's that website? Like, what's the Packers something?" He just put like $30 on a 2-team parlay, and he hit. So so you can hit, you can have some fun, but just don't lose your livelihood. Tremaine Flim says, what do you think about Benavidez versus Figueiredo? Ooh, that's some heat, Tremaine Flim. I'm a huge fan of Benavidez. I think he's one of the best flyweights in the world. I had him, he lost to Pettis, but other than that, in 31 pro fights, he didn't lose to anybody not named Demetrius Johnson or Dominick Cruz. So Benavidez, underrated, one of the best fighters on the planet, definitely of the smaller weight classes. But I'm a huge fan of Benavidez and his skills. Figueiredo's been dangerous, undefeated, knocking motherfucker out in his most 2 recent fights, I believe. I love that matchup, Benavidez versus Figueiredo. I would fucking love that one. All right, so let's actually get into the show, guys. We've been going for about 20 minutes. We probably got about 40 more. We're just going to look at the main card for today. Tomorrow on the show, we'll glimpse over the rest just because it's the day before the fights. But Max Holloway versus Brian Ortega, we talked about a little bit, featherweight title. Valentina Shevchenko versus Joanna Jedrzejczyk, 2 of the greatest female fighters on the planet in their respective divisions. But as good as these 2 female fighters are, as good as Joanna Jedrzejczyk is, the former strawweight queen pin, I just don't think she's sniffing Valentina Shevchenko's fucking panties, no hetero. And what I mean by that is, like, I just don't see her on that level. Like, people are like, what, sniffing panties? Like, no, it's a term that we use, like, when someone's not close. You're not fucking sniffing that guy's jocks. I just turned it into the female version. But Joanna Jedrzejczyk is a talented fighter, tremendous athlete. What she's done in the strawweight division is she's got a legacy already. She's one of the greatest female fighters of all time, but she's already lost to this girl 3 times, as great as she is. It's in MMA now. It's a weight class up. Valentina Shevchenko has out-grappled and outstruck the best bantamweights on the planet. Like, Joanna's going to have a sizable speed advantage in this fight to win a decision and try and, like, outpoint Valentina, or hope there's a fucking, like, Adelaide Birds working, maybe a robbery, like, maybe something like that. But submission, I don't see that. I don't see that at all. As far as past the victory is concerned, Valentina by a mile. Because I don't see, in my mind, like, I'm trying to get shit thinking and moving. I can't do anything to get my mind to process Joanna Jedrzejczyk submitting Valentina Shevchenko. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can bang my head on. There's no thought process. That's hard for me to fathom. If it happens, that's when your jaw drops and it shocks the world. If Joanna submitted Valentina, it's hard for me to see that happening. I could see a KO TKO and I could see a decision. That'd probably be a robbery, but it's going to be hard for Joanna to win this fight for sure against Valentina the Bullet Shevchenko, who's really coming to claim this division as her own and start her own title reign. So I'm really looking forward to it. Jimmy Manawa versus Thiago Santos at 205. That's going to be a good fight. I'm almost more confident in predicting somebody gets slept in that fight than I am predicting the winner, but I can't wait for it. Oliveira versus Gunnar Nelson. I think somebody's getting choked out in this fight. Submitted. Your arm might get fucking ripped off. Either way, I think somebody's probably getting submitted in this fight. Both of these guys, very talented grapplers, talented fighters. I'm really looking forward to these 2 top 15 ranked welterweights throwing down. Slight edge to Gunny Nelson for me, but loving the fight. And then Hakeem Dawodu versus my motherfucking dog, Crash, Kyle Bochniak, coming off that performance against Zabit. Boy, was that a thriller. Kyle Bochniak came to game that night, and for that, I'm rooting for him. And not just am I rooting for him, I actually think he's got a good chance to win this fight. When I did my breakdowns and predictions, the strength of schedule, it's up there. I mean, he's fought more UFC legit competition. I'm fucking with Kyle Bochniak, and that performance was solid. So hopefully he throws on another great performance as well. So, hell yeah. Jacob De La Cruz says Joanna low-key sexy though. No, I mean you ain't all the way off there, bro. You ain't all the way off. She's definitely not busted by any means. Actually, one of my cousins that got me into MMA, that's like his favorite fighter. Like, he's looking at Joanna like, ooh, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if he had a poster, Joanna's like one of his baddest top 5 fighters for sure. Like, he loves Joanna. So, for sure, she's definitely low-key one up there for sure. Stamina MC says, but would she? Let's see your open workout video, son. Oh, shit, Stamina MC. He said, I'd smash sober. Stamina MC's like, but would she? I hear you, Stamina. Not low-key. She's an attractive lady, says Jay Skills. Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. Especially for a fighter. You know, for a fighter. So, with that being said, all right. We've talked about the fights. We've talked a little bit about the brand new full-time family bankroll. We're going to do that. Right now, it's at $5. Fuck around, and we'll talk more about that on the show tomorrow, because the day before the fights is when I actually want to place the bet. So probably we talked about that a little bit. Let's talk about some news, because just yesterday Tuesday on the show, when we did the show, Brian Ortega said he's not looking past Max Holloway, but he would like to fight Khabib. I was like, okay, I get it. You know, reporters ask questions and yada yada, but it's still kind of hard to say. I'm not looking past him, but if I win, you know, like, I'm not looking past him, but I've thought about if I win. It's like, that's kind of what looking past is. And I say, okay, maybe you just got asked the question and you're focused on Max 100%. Well, now, Brian Ortega saying he'll be filming a movie 3 months after UFC 231 in a lead role. It's like, well, goddamn, bro. Are you looking past Max or are you not? We're talking about fighting Khabib. We already booked to fucking be in a lead role in a movie, and for sure, if anybody can be a damn star, look at Brian Ortega. He can be in a movie. I mean, McGregor should have been in the lead role before Ortega. Could you imagine Conor McGregor in, like, Transporter 4? You know what I'm saying? Like the new Jason Statham and shit. Badass. It'd be dope. But, so my mind is like, okay, now I'm almost sure he's looking past Max Holloway, and I could be completely off. But if you're talking about fighting Khabib and you're already booked a movie role fucking 3 months after the fight, bro, you definitely are planning for after this fight. That's just in my mind. Maybe I'm wrong. But we will see. He says, it's a movie I signed with. I don't know. I got to check, but I think it'll be the first UFC. I'll be the first UFC fighter in history to have the lead role in a big movie. I didn't really talk to the producer yet, so I don't know what I can say or what I can't say. What the fuck? This has to be like a looks thing. He hasn't did half enough in the UFC to be the first UFC fighter in a lead role. This motherfucker's about to fight for his first title. I get it. He's beautiful. No hetero. But what I'm saying is, what are we doing here? Before McGregor, before Bisping, who was in the Transporter, before Rampage, who'd been in millions of movies, before Tyron Woodley, who had the line in Straight Outta Compton, we got T-City, the contender Ortega, in the first lead role ever before he even wins the title? What if this motherfucker gets cleaned up by Max Holloway? There goes your movie. I mean, he's still going to look good, but you have to teach this motherfucker how to act on the go, and he's going to be your lead role? I'm missing something here. I am missing something here. And that's just giving you more to think about ahead of your fight, bro. Now, if you win, sky's the limit. You're going to do big things. But that was it for Cody Garbrandt. If you win, bro, the sky's the limit. If Cody Garbrandt knocks out TJ Dillashaw in the rematch, he might be in a fucking movie. The American Conor McGregor knocking dudes out. Oh, shit, son. Cody Garbrandt's got potential. I might fucking go down and fight DJ. I might go down to 125. I might go up to... I mean, but you lost twice, and so now we're like, well... Do you expect Cody Garbrandt to pop out in the lead role? He might, but it's not what I'm expecting. So, yo, salute to Ortega on the opportunity, but I just hope he's not getting too ahead of himself, because I really feel like this fight is more important than the movie role, more important than a Khabib fight, because if you don't win this fight, those opportunities stop coming. If you can't beat Max Holloway, you're not going to fight Khabib. If you can't beat Max Holloway, if you can't become a champion, you're probably not going to be in another lead role. And we saw Conor McGregor. What did he do leading up to these fights? And technically, I guess it didn't pay off. Not ahead of this one. But a lot we've seen McGregor. He could have been in a movie leading up to his rematch with Nate Diaz. He's had a few fights where you don't think Conor McGregor has been offered lead roles? No, he has been. I'm sure he's been offered many lead roles. But we've literally heard McGregor saying, I got to focus on this fight. I don't got time to go be in a lead role. Now, for Brian Ortega, the movie's 3 months after the fight. But, so now, actually, now that I think about it, that sucks. Honestly, that kind of sucks. He's already in this movie role because now what if he wins? So now we know for the next 3 months he's probably not going to be fighting. For one, when people become the champion, they usually go on a world tour and take a break. So there's that already. But for two, if Brian Ortega wins this fight, they don't start filming for 3 months. So he's going to become the champion, probably not defend his title until March, and then that's when they're going to start filming. If Brian Ortega wins this fight, we're probably not going to see the rematch until International Fight Week in like fucking July. 100%. A very real possibility. It could be later. We're talking about not starting to film the movie until the next 3 months. So, like, there's a log jam potentially incoming. If Brian Ortega wins, then I got to go be the lead role. I'll see you. Maybe we get an interim belt. We can get an interim belt. But there's so much going on when you got to fight. So we'll see if this means something or if it means nothing. It could mean nothing. It's 3 months in advance. Maybe he's not thinking about Khabib. Maybe he's not thinking about this lead role. Maybe he's not taking acting classes. Maybe he's not. You got to prepare for that. You're doing jiu-jitsu in the daytime, wrestling, jiu-jitsu on Mondays in the daytime, fucking wrestling in the evening. Then you got kickboxing on Tuesdays. Then you got acting on Tuesdays. And what? I mean, but I'm sure being a disciplined, dedicated fighter, he's going to be able to fit the time in. But as a fan, I'm kind of skeptical. Like, bro, it seems like you got a lot on your plate ahead of a fight with one of the best featherweights of all fucking time, Max Holloway. Like, unless you're putting a lot of stock into his injury, you know what I'm saying, or his health scare, you're gonna need to be focused to even without a Khabib fight on the line, even without a lead role, you're gonna need all your focus to fucking deal with this guy. You're gonna be fighting on Saturday, Max Holloway. It don't matter if you got no distractions, this is going to be a tough fight. You can literally come into this in fuck your zen state, no distractions, best you've ever been, living your best life, just happy you got this opportunity, and still get your ass kicked against Max Holloway. So add these distractions on. We'll see if Max Holloway can break the Drizzy and the Ken Flo curse, because this is starting to pull me back Max's way. I'm looking forward to the fight. There's so much going on. I mean, even building up to this fight, after the fight now, possibilities. We know Max Holloway's offered to go up and fight Khabib. Ortega, that matchup's great against Khabib. I would love to see Ortega versus Khabib, so a lot of stuff going on. What do you guys think about Ortega saying he'll be filming a movie 3 months after his UFC 231 fight with Max Holloway, and it's a lead role? He said, I might be the first UFC fighter ever to be in a lead role. That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. Max Holloway said he's been lapping Brian Ortega. He said, everything the guy did, I did it better, man. Max Holloway said he's good. He's a dangerous man, but everybody keeps talking about Brian this and Brian that. Everything the guy did, I did better. He's on, what, a 6-fight win streak? I got 12. He beat a champion? I beat 2. And I beat one of them twice. So at the end of the day, the Blessed Express is going around in a circle. We're lapping you, bro, and I'm younger than you. So congratulations. My motherfucking dog, Max, I hope he's back, man. This is my dude, bro. One of my favorite fighters of all time. I hope the health scares are cleared up. All of this, because I want to see Max Holloway continue to thrive. My dog's a motherfucking monster. He says, so when asked for a response from Ortega, he says, sometimes the best response is no response. Holloway says, sometimes you don't have a response. Ortega says, someone's still delirious. These motherfuckers going back and forth, dog. Oh, I can't wait. We're fucking about, what, three days away? Holloway versus Ortega, 231. Shevchenko versus Joanna. Jay Skill says, I think it's time to bet on Max. Uh-oh. It might be time. We'll see tomorrow. Are we betting our $5 on Max Holloway? Are we betting that shit on Kyle Bochniak? I think we're going to do like a vote for the family. Like, who would you guys rather bet on? Like, I'll give like the 3 options. Bochniak, Holloway, or like fucking Gunnar Nelson. My 3 favorite bets. And then whoever the family votes on, whoever's got the most percentage, that's who we're placing the bet on. It's going to be a family thing. It ain't going to be me making no damn bets. It's going to be us. And then when we're watching the fights, we're all going to be rooting for our bet, bro. I think this is going to be super fun. I'm putting my 5 on Max Holloway for sure, says Benji. I'm looking forward to it, bro. We're going to do the survey tomorrow. Max Holloway, Kyle Bochniak, or Gunnar Nelson. Those are the 3 bets. All right, so we'll have tomorrow on the live show, we'll do a vote. So, yeah, I'm super looking forward to this. Joanna Jedrzejczyk vows to become the women's MMA GOAT and return to strawweight in 2019. And I think by MMA GOAT, she means WWE champion. No, I'm just kidding. But Joanna Jedrzejczyk's got a tough task ahead of her, man. And her days as an MMA fighter / MMA GOAT could be numbered. Now, MMA GOAT, she'll always have her legacy. But I mean, recently somebody sent me an email, and I'm like, damn, I didn't see this video nowhere. Like, I don't know if it was somebody from the AT&T camp. It's not even somebody I was super familiar with their name. They're like, hey, full-time MMA, just curious what you thought about Joanna Jedrzejczyk practicing her WWE moves over here. And they sent me a video in ATT. Joanna Jedrzejczyk was doing some professional wrestling ahead of this Valentina fight. And so it's like, her foot seems to be one way out the door. She's talked about following her friend Ronda Rousey to the WWE. She can't really go back to strawweight as long as Rose Namajunas is the champion. If Valentina beats her, there's nothing for her there. Her teammate's Amanda Nunes. There's literally nothing for Joanna to do except for become a gatekeeper and contender if she loses to Valentina, unless she goes to the WWE. So, ideally for Joanna, she wins this fight. She gets known as the WMMA GOAT because she beat Valentina Shevchenko, one of the best pound-for-pound fighters on the planet. She moves down, beats Rose, becomes the champ, and she continues to reign in both divisions. Ideally, in a perfect Joanna Jedrzejczyk world. But boy, this is not a perfect Joanna Jedrzejczyk world, and more realistically, you lose to Valentina. Rose is the champion. Valentina's the champion. You can't touch either one, but the WWE is a calling. But either way, we know where Joanna Jedrzejczyk's mind's coming into this fight. She said, after my victory Saturday, I will prove that I am the GOAT of women's MMA. She ain't even like throwing Cyborg's name into consideration. She ain't say that I'm one of the GOATs. She said, I will prove that I am the GOAT of women's MMA. Like, this reminds me of that bow down shit. Like, you lost twice to Rose and you're still talking about bow down? Might be a little delusional, sweetie. But hey, that's how she became the champion. For me, the result, I already know the result, says Shevchenko, and there's no way that I will leave this city without the belt. Ooh, and if you motherfucking are doubting her, you're crazy. You're smoking the bobo if you know what the fuck I'm talking about. She said, of course, experience that I had in Muay Thai victories, 3 Muay Thai victories over Joanna, it'll bring me a lot. It's one thing when you're facing someone who you don't know the power, the speed, the rest. I know what to expect from Joanna. I know her power, I know her speed, and it's totally fine with me that she's already 100% because I was never looking for a fight with the fighter who's not ready for the fight. Come the fuck on. This is Valentina Shevchenko we're talking about right now. When you want to talk about WMMA GOAT P for P, we need to start talking more about Valentina Shevchenko. I know clearly it's Chris Cyborg, the scariest female fighter on the planet, but when you're talking about technical skill, we're talking about Valentina Shevchenko. When you're talking about pound for pound, multiple weight classes, we're talking about Valentina Shevchenko. I mean, it is what it is. She's already beat Joanna. We're about to watch it again. It's going to be a beautiful destruction, possibly. Where can Joanna shock the fucking world? I can't wait to see. But either way, man, Valentina Shevchenko's ready. She's prepared. She's been in there. She knows she's been in there with this girl. I mean, Valentina is the girl that trained Rose to beat Joanna. If she can just go take a fighter, a contender, and turn them into the champion, like, just with her experience against Joanna, what do you think she's got for Joanna? Like, she was probably watching the Rose Joanna fight. Like, you did good, you beat her ass, but I would have fucking hit her with one of these right here. But, ooh, she was probably just looking, just dreaming about picking apart Joanna again. I cannot wait for this fight, dog. But it's gonna be just fucking epic going down this weekend. Joanna Valentina, co-main event. One of the best WMMA fights, or I've been looking forward to the most for a long time. Now, Valentina Shevchenko continuing to speak. She says the UFC should have a backup ready just in case for every title fight. And yeah, I mean, especially if you're Valentina, you could imagine her where she's coming from here. She was supposed to fight Nico Montano. There wasn't even another flyweight on the fucking card. Going up to that whole card, we had trouble with Nico Montano. Ariel Helwani reported the UFC was getting frustrated with her booking her in this fight against Valentina. I mean, they were supposed to be booked a couple times. Valentina never got the title shot. And then ultimately, finally, the UFC got Nico Montano booked against Valentina. And there's not even another flyweight on the card just in case this girl pulls out, that it's already been hard to book a fight against. So we didn't have a backup plan in place there. Even though on the same card, we did have a backup plan in place for Woodley vs. Till. I mean, a lot of shit hasn't made sense quite. But either way, this would. Fuck it. We don't have to worry about that again if you do put a backup fighter on the card. But then there's problems. You got to pay the backup fighter. Can the UFC as a business afford to just pay somebody to show up every card? What if they don't need the backup fighter? You're just paying an extra fighter. I mean, and you, just as a stupid fan, you might think, oh, they can afford it. They can afford it. You don't know what the fuck these people can afford, dog. You don't know how hard that loan is hitting. You don't know anything about their business enough to know what they can afford to pay fighters, especially if they're not fighting. Of course, if you're showing up to fight, we're going to pay you to work. But we can't just afford to pay a top contender their show rate every time we have a title fight. Some cards have 3 title fights. So we got to pay 3 backups for this card just in case any of these fights fall out. That's not all the way realistic. So now, the fights that you might be skeptical about, right? Those ones you should have a backup for. We're putting Darren Till in a title fight even though he missed weight and it's on short notice. Yeah, let's get him a backup. We're plugging fucking Sarge Eubanks into the main event of Madison Square Garden even though she's had troubles making weight. Let's get her a backup. We're plugging Nico Montano into this fight against Valentina even though it's been hard to get her in here. Let's get a backup. You know, the fights that you've had troubles booking and you're kind of skeptical, is this person going to show up? Let's get a backup. But you can't get a backup for every title fight. Valentina Shevchenko, this is what she had to say. She says, one thing I'm happy with is that I'm sure this fight will happen. We won't have any issues cutting weight with that stuff, as we did with the Nico Montano situation. And we would have had, we literally saw it. Sarge Eubanks was booked to fight against Valentina in the main event. She didn't get to fight in the main event, but she did miss weight. We would have been looking at Shevchenko versus Eubanks with Eubanks missing weight if the UFC didn't fucking slap themselves and take that fight apart. But yeah, Valentina Shevchenko, just for me, it doesn't matter. It only matters to fight. It doesn't matter who, doesn't matter when, doesn't matter where. It matters, let's get this motherfucking shit done. It really don't matter who. I mean, when you're thinking about 125, 135, 115, minus Amanda Nunes, I don't think you can name any female on the planet that can beat Valentina Shevchenko at those 3 weight classes. Of course, if you go to 145 or 155, you got Cyborg and Kayla Harrison. I know. But what I'm saying is 115, 125, 135, give me fucking Valentina Shevchenko all day. Chris Court says Darren Till did an interview calling out McGregor, and that's the only fight he wants right now. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Last time I heard from Darren Till, he was supposed to be moving up to 185. Why the fuck are you calling out small McGregor? Like, do you want the money, I guess? And when I say small McGregor, I'm like, this guy fought at featherweight. You got a guy that's fighting at middleweight, potentially calling out a former featherweight. That's clout chasing. That's chasing the cash. That's not no fucking, oh, I've always wanted to test myself against Anderson Silva. That's a fucking, oh, you make a lot of money and bring a lot of eyes, I'll fight you. You want to fight? Clout chase? I mean, I'm a big fan of Darren Till, but when you get to calling out McGregor, if that's the only fight you want, Nah. You know what I'm saying? I still want to see where Darren Till's next fight's going to be. Welterweight, middleweight, fucking lightweight. You fighting Conor? I don't know. But either way, yeah, man. Interesting. All right, we got a couple more things to talk about. Henry Cejudo versus TJ Dillashaw moved to UFC Brooklyn. What in the, guys? This was supposed to be the main event for UFC 233, and lo and behold, just on the last show, Tuesday's show, I was saying, man, this UFC 233 card is looking too stacked. And I think it was a Stamina earlier in the show talking about how, like, these fights always get canceled. But here we go. Here we go again. If you're a fan of the UFC, you're familiar with this. You got a card. It's looking too good to be true. And then leading up to the fight, motherfucking, it might be an injury. It might be a location issue. It might just be a decision by the UFC. We're going to move this fight to a later date. This guy's injured. He can't fight. So we'll just move the fight. And before you know it, the card that was once too good to be true is still a decent card, but it's no longer too good to be true, right? And so might be happening with UFC 233 because this card was fucking already great. I don't know who's going to be their next title fight now. I don't think there was any other title fights on this card. So I don't know where that's going to be as far as what they're going to do for a title fight for UFC 233, but it won't be Cejudo versus Dillashaw. This fight is being moved to Brooklyn on a free no, ESPN Plus is behind a paywall. I was going to say on a free card, but it's on ESPN Plus 1. Cejudo versus this whole ESPN Plus, there's too many of those for me. As a fucking broke person out here in this world, I'm not going to be paying for no fucking ESPN Plus, Fox Sports Plus, fucking DAZN. I can't buy no 10 different apps to watch 10 different sports, man. I hope Reddit MMA streams got my back through all of this shit because I ain't got it. I ain't got it. Now, maybe if I had it, I'd be on ESPN Plus, but not right now. Cejudo, but it's a great fight. Champion versus champion super fight. That's for sure a pay-per-view fight. And it's getting put on ESPN Plus. So technically you might get this fight for like $5 if you sign up. Because I think it's like $5 a month. So maybe you sign up for like $5, watch this fight, cancel it. I mean, if you're telling me I get Cejudo versus Dillashaw for $5, that's worth it. For sure. And I think this is the same card with Van Zandt Ostovich. Like, they're kicking off the ESPN Plus shit. So, I mean, probably going to be a good deal. But super interesting to see this fight get moved from UFC 233 as it was a champ versus champ super fight. It was a pay-per-view headliner. And now UFC 233 is left without a headliner. But let's look at the card because it's already a great card. UFC 233 fight card. What we got? Lawler versus Askren. Yeah, see, guys. The fucking card is insane. The card is insane so far. Can I, like, click this thing? More fights? There we go. I mean, even without Cejudo Dillashaw, you got Lawler Askren, Cruz Lineker, Benavidez Figueiredo, Casey Calvillo, Hernandez Trinaldo, Vic Felder. All the way down, I like these fights. Albu Whitmire. Maybe Albu will win and give us one of those celebratory twerks she likes to do after she wins fights. Marcus Perez, Anthony Hernandez, Marion Renault, Yana Kunitz, Kaya, James Vick, Paul Felder. I'm loving all these fights. Joanne Calderwood taking on Arlene Lipsky. Islam Makhachev versus Francisco Trinaldo. The card is stacked if you're a hardcore MMA fan. But now the question is, what do you do for a main event? Do you make Askren Lawler for the 165 inaugural title? Or do you find a new title fight? We'll see, but no longer do we have a champ versus champ super fight at the top of this pay-per-view. D. Brown says full-time. I believe if Henry Cejudo gets hold of Dillashaw, the Olympian may have a chance. Oh, yeah, he's definitely got a chance, especially at 125 pounds. It kind of reminds me, in a ways, of if GSP were to go down to 155. At 170, I give the edge to GSP in his more natural weight class. At 135, I give the edge to TJ Dillashaw. But now when you're telling me he's going to cut all this weight that we've never seen him cut and go down a division, now we're talking. Now Cejudo's got a chance. Now I give Khabib a better chance against the GSP. So I'm with you, D. Brown, on that one. Jay Skill says first finished weight cut related, but I understand that argument, Stamina MC. Jacob De La Cruz says, who's got their lotion and tissues ready for Van Zant versus Ostovich? Oh, my Lord. Don't even. Don't joke. Domestic violence is not something you should joke about. Oh, lotion and tissues. Why did I think you said, like, tears, bro? I thought you meant, like, crying because the victims of domestic violence. Oh, lotion and tissues because we're all going to be fucking fapping. I get it. Oh, yeah. Oh, well, my tissues aren't here anymore. I get it. D. Brown says, wonderful breakdown, brother. Yo, appreciate that, D. Brown. A couple more things to talk about. But, yeah, speaking of Rachel Ostovich versus Paige Van Zant, did you guys recently, we were going to talk about this. Did you guys recently see who's going to be on that card? Well, let's fast forward this topic to now. All right. Speaking of Ostovich versus Van Zant, which is going to be on ESPN +1, as well as now Dillashaw versus Cejudo, Greg Hardy, Mr. Domestic Violence. I shouldn't say that. That's a joke. But what I'm saying is he has a terrible rap for domestic violence. It was why he got kicked out of the NFL. Even though ultimately I believe the charges were dropped when the victim didn't show up to the final hearing. So either way, when you think Greg Hardy now, domestic violence comes to your mind. I don't know if it's in part. I would assume media has a part to play with it because he's such a big star or a tremendous athlete, because it's not like he's a serial woman beater. It's not like when you think of Greg Hardy, you think of like the 5 chicks he's beat the fuck out of or something. Like, you think of the one infamous incident that got him kicked out of the NFL. But either way, when you get that rap as a woman beater, people give you that rap. I mean, it doesn't matter if you've proven yourself, rehabilitated. It doesn't matter if you provide somebody with the logical argument. So what are you saying? This guy should never work again? And I was listening to like ESPN First Take. No, with Skip and Shannon the other day. And, you know, they've got a female moderator and then the 2 dudes are doing debate. And a situation came up with Kareem Hunt where he had, the video came out, he was released from the team, and it was a domestic violence situation. And so people were like, should he ever be allowed to come back and play sports? And fucking yes! People are literally starting to act like domestic violence is pedophilia or murder. What the fuck? What the fuck? Bro, has no one been in a relationship like that could be rocky at times? Clearly, I'm not saying like you put your hands on a female. That's not even close to what I'm saying. But do your emotions not run high sometimes when crazy shit happens, or you're arguing and something happens, and or if some wild shit? Have you never seen a close friend, a family member's emotions get high, man or woman? Let's say you got kids. Let's say you're married. Let's say your significant other cheats, man or woman. Is it absolutely asinine to fathom that someone could lose their shit? Is it absolutely asinine? Like, because it really starts to, like, when you hear domestic violence, it's almost as cringeworthy as hearing pedophilia at this point. Like, oh my God, he hit a woman. Put him in there with the fucking pedos. Like, what? I get it. Domestic violence is fucking terrible, but can we look at each situation a little different? Every person that's put his hands on the woman is not the exact same. Like I said, you don't know if this motherfucker just got a screenshot of his girl who he has a baby with and is married, and they got a prenup, and she just sent him a picture smashing his dad and his brother at the same time, and she sent him a picture. She was the one recording it. You don't know any of the details. But I digress. I talk about that too much. I talk about it too much, and not going to fucking do it again. But what I'm saying is, Greg Hardy, who's known for this domestic violence past, is on the same fucking fight card as Rachel Ostovich, who's going to be fighting Paige Van Zant. Come on, UFC. Come on, UFC. This is almost as bad as when we fucking booked Ray Borg on the same card, or Michael Chiesa on the same card as Conor McGregor. Dude, he's suing him.
They can't even be in the same fucking building. Why would you put them on the same card? We weren't thinking about it for a second. So now we got Rachel Ostovich, who barely got cleared to fight. I mean, her fight was called off. They said she had a broken orbital bone. I mean, her fight was called off. Luckily, she was cleared to fight, and she got the fight back. So now she just went through this situation where she said she was coughing up blood, potentially had a broken orbital from domestic violence. And you put Greg Hardy on the same card? I'm the guy that preaches rehabilitation. And don't fucking give someone a second chance. And I was watching Skip and Shannon for a good reason. Because in the Kareem Hunt situation, they were saying, so what are you guys saying? He should never have another opportunity to provide for his family? If somebody has one fucking slip up, and I'm saying slip up, unless they're a repeat offender, it's a slip up. My emotions were running way too fucking high. I made a mistake. I apologize for it. I was in the wrong. I shouldn't have done it. I also shouldn't fucking... oh God, there's so many levels of this. People could have anger issues. Some of these people might have fucking roid rage, and there's still no excuse. But just like Rose Namajunas, you don't know what she went through as a kid. You don't know how bad that window traumatized her. You don't know what the fuck Greg Hardy went through as a fucking kid. Oh, no one cares, right? Is it because he's a man, or is it because he's an NFL athlete? What's the reason? You don't know if he grew up seeing what he grew up seeing, if he's traumatized, if he's got to switch stick and flip, if something happens. But there's not even a sentiment of what did Greg Hardy go through as a kid. Even though he's only been in this incident once, it's not like he's a serial woman beater. It happened one time. No one looks at, oh, you don't know what he went through. Because he's not a woman, I guess? Okay. But when a chick gets traumatized because a window gets broken, everyone's like, don't question that! But we paint. I don't know, man. It's just not for me. Maybe I shouldn't be a speaker, because this shit racks my brain sometimes. But either way, the Skip and Shannon, in what I was watching, he was like, okay, so if a fucking doctor, if a lawyer, if a police officer, whenever they get in a domestic violence situation, do they lose their jobs? Or just because these guys are athletes, they should lose their fucking livelihood, even though your window of playing in the NBA or NFL or a fighter might be, 10 to 15 years if you're extremely lucky? 10 to 15 years if you're extremely lucky is how long your career is. You make one mistake, you're an athlete, you're a beast. And that's how you got to be in a fighter or in the NFL, by being nothing but a fucking beast. You didn't get there by being soft. So you're already a beast. You have one beastly moment and you lose everything you've worked for. And they're like, oh, well, you're in the public, so you should get the fuck out of here, dude. You're going to tell me an athlete that was bred to be a fucking beast should be more self-controlled than a doctor or a police officer or a fucking lawyer that went to school and is on the right side of the law? But a fucking athlete should be more cool-headed than them. What the fuck, dog? A police officer he just gets brushed under the rug, back on the force. Sally was probably not cooking. Get the fuck out of here, dude. This shit gets brushed under the rug. These motherfuckers get painted out to be serial abusers for one slip-up. Okay. All right, you guys know where I'm at clearly by now. All right, there's enough of the full-time facts. Salute to Lucy and Hella. But yeah, so Greg Hardy, and I'm not saying it disrespectfully, because like I just went on the whole spiel, but the face of domestic violence for the NFL for a moment, and now every time he gets brought up in MMA, almost the face of domestic violence in MMA already. I mean, people are already talking about Greg Hardy versus Derek Lewis just because they want to see Derek Lewis, who punishes woman beaters, face a woman beater. That's a match that people are already clamoring for. So you put this guy with the domestic violence rap on the same card as Rachel Ostovich, who was just allegedly spitting up blood and had a broken orbital from this shit. Wild booking. So Dominick Cruz, another big current event booking. Dominick Cruz returning against John Lineker at 233. We talked about this a little bit earlier in the show, not as much. But Dominick Cruz finally coming back, 2-year layoff, lost to Cody Garbrandt. He was booked in a fight, got injured. His career has been plagued with injuries. Now he's coming back against John Lineker. I like the fight. It's a winnable fight for Dominick Cruz. We're still a dangerous opponent in John Lineker, hands of stone. But here, I think this is a fight. Dominick Cruz is a guy. He's always in a position. He's one win away from a title shot. Hell, if there wasn't a champ versus champ super fight, Dominick Cruz would be fighting for the title right now. Because when you look at TJ Dillashaw and you ask him, who do you want to fight next at bantamweight? It's not going to be a name. He's not going to cherry pick. His team's probably going to look at who's the best legacy fight, who's going to bring the most money. Dominick Cruz ticks off both of those fucking boxes. If you want to be the best bantamweight of all time, you got to beat Dominick Cruz, especially with the win he's already got over you. There's no story, no rivalry, no history, no selling of a fight that's going to be better than your rivalry with Cruz. Because Dillashaw and Murrr, they don't have a history. Dillashaw and Rivera, they don't have near as much of a history. Dillashaw and Cruz, oh, they've already got a history. They've already fought for a title, everything. So Dominick Cruz, he could very well, win this fight and fight for the title next. So this could be a title eliminator for Cruz. But this is a huge opportunity for John Lineker in the same. So going to be interesting to see where Dominick Cruz is coming off that broken arm injury and this layoff, and how he's going to look. He's shown in the past ring rust doesn't necessarily affect him. Ring rust isn't something that seems to affect Dominick Cruz, but we're getting later, more injuries piling up, more time piling up. So even though I like Dominick Cruz in this fight, I'm still looking forward to it. Anything can happen. One more thing to talk about. Instead of title fight, Kamaru Usman wants Colby Covington next. I gotta bless this dude with my hands. And I kind of like this because I know Kamaru Usman just wants to beat the shit out of Colby Covington. Like, all the borderline, racist, cringy, shit-talking Colby Covington does actually gets to Usman. And he really wants to fuck this dude up. I mean, it's another one of those situations. You're taking everything I work for, motherfucker. Who's the more dangerous welterweight? Probably Usman. Who's the 9-0? It's probably Usman. But Covington's the one that's talking the trash and fucking being that guy that's going to try and sell the tickets and be the heel and talk the shit, be borderline racist. So he's getting the opportunity right now. But Usman's like, you know what? All that shit has me wanting to beat Covington's ass more than I want to win the belt. Of course, I would like to fight Woodley, and Usman's got a good chance of beating Woodley. The fight we saw, Usman versus RDA, dangerous. Nigerian nightmare. He's nightmare for a reason. One of the most avoided welterweights already. That was from the UFC brass. They didn't use the word ducked, but he's definitely one of the most avoided welterweights in UFC history. Kamaru Usman already. Now, he's got a bone to pick with Covington. Like, bro, I'll beat your ass for an interim title or for free before we fight for the title. We got some shit we got to handle. And I like that from Usman because, for one, who wouldn't want to see Colby Covington get the fuck kicked out of him? Because I do believe Usman would do that. And for two of the top welterweights in the world, title eliminator, let's fucking go. Usman says, I'm going to go out there and knock out Colby Covington. That right now is the fight. The UFC just called and they offered us the fight. They said Colby Covington in January, and you know what I'm going to do. Of course I accepted. For the 5th time, I accepted the fight. Right now, we're just waiting on him. He said there comes a time when what we do in our careers, where we get that one guy, that guy just makes your blood boil. And that really pulls the real savage out of you. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. We haven't even seen the real savage come out of this guy. What the fuck? He said that pulls the real savage out of you. I have to touch him. I have to. I've got to bless this dude with my hands. I've got to bless him. It's going to be a little sour taste in my mouth to win the belt, win multiple times, and then retire knowing I didn't put my hands on this dude. He don't want to build a legacy if it doesn't involve bashing this motherfucking Colby Covington at least once or twice before he runs off to the WWE. And I'm all in, man. He says, I'm going to go out there and do Tyron's dirty work because I understand Tyron don't want to have to fight both of us. He wants to sit back, keep getting them big checks, and y'all get over there at TMZ. So it is what it is. Don't worry, T. I'm going to go out there and do the dirty work, and after that, we're going to have a talk. Oh, this welterweight division's getting fun. These guys can't run too much longer. Woodley, Covington, figure your shit out. Who's injured? Who's fighting? What's going on? I don't know, but you guys got to figure it out because Usman's on the way. D. Brown says still would like to see more ice fight. Dillashaw, Marais, yes. Lucian Hell says full-time. Guys like Luke Thomas and company keep pushing the narrative that the UFC is putting on too many cards. What are your thoughts on this? I hear you on that. I mean, maybe. There's just so many fights now. I mean, if you're the UFC, are you putting on too many cards? I don't think so in a sense if you're the UFC. You've got to keep up with the competition. So maybe not in that sense. But as far as hard to keep up with, I mean, I can see that. I don't know. I don't know where I'm at on that. I don't have like some agenda that I'm not really trying to push a narrative, so I would have to think about it. But I mean, I see both sides a little bit on that. I mean, with so much competition now, you kind of think you have to if you're the UFC. If there's only a UFC, let's say twice a month, that opens up a lot of weekends for Bellator and ONE and LFA and all these other promotions to just get bigger and bigger. You got to I feel like you kind of got to, at this point, keep the foot on their necks. At this point, baby. And maybe not. Because it's like, if you don't, I mean, like, there was people watching Liddell versus Ortiz. You know why? Not because that's what they chose to watch out of all the other combat sports. It's because there was no UFC that night. There was no boxing that night. There was no Bellator that night. There was no competition that night. So if you lighten up on shows, I kind of feel like you're lightening up on the competition a little bit. You're giving them a room to grow. But maybe your product becomes less saturated. People can't wait to watch the UFC. Like, okay, I get it, Bellator and all this shit's on, but I can't wait for the UFC. Maybe it lets you stack your cards better. You know, like, so it'd be interesting to see how it plays out. But personally, I don't really have a hand in it. I don't really care how many cards they're putting on. The good cards I'll watch. The bad cards I'll probably watch the main card. But maybe there's something to that for sure. Stamina MC says, you didn't ask me, but I 100% agree. Stamina MC, there you go. He agrees. There we go. I'm sure a lot of people do agree. And especially the Luke Thomases and the Ariel Helwanis of the world. Like, they've been doing this for a while, you know? So maybe they would know a lot more than me about that, who's just a fan. But just as a fan looking at it, yeah. I could see I definitely see the people that say there's too many cards, but I don't know what you do. Do you stop putting the cards on and let your competition shine? I don't know. Lucian Hella says, my answer is tournaments and a point system to make fights more relevant. Bro, the PFL system, they got like a regular season now with the tournaments at the end. I love that system. Like, if you could do that system in the UFC, fuck it. I'm watching every single time. I'm watching the regular season. I want to know what's going on in these playoffs, who's going to be in the tournament fighting on the same night. Bro, could you imagine getting to see UFC fighters fighting on the same night again? Could you imagine, like, Woodley having to fight Lawler in the first round and then Usman in the second round? Bro, I'm having, like, an MMA orgasm in my body and brain just thinking about how epic that would be if we could do UFC PFL style. That would be epic. Leon Dobson says it would be the UFC. It would do the UFC no harm, in my opinion, to cut back a little bit. Competition is also not a bad thing. That's true. Competition's not always a bad thing. I mean, you got to have a Burger King for every McDonald's, right? UFC tournaments, that would be huge. Side note, I was about to talk about Burger King and McDonald's. Have you guys seen the fucking commercials, bro? Burger King is selling nuggets 10 for a fucking $1, bro. 10 chicken nuggets for $1. That's what you call pricing yourself out the game. Ever since I've saw that commercial, I've never even wanted to smell a chicken nugget. Bro, we did the math. That's cheaper. If you go to the grocery store and buy a bag of fucking nuggets to cook yourself, you're not getting them 10 for $1. That's gotta be horse balls, ass, intestines, slime, shit, hoof, grinded, blended down together, put in a processor, put some fucking water on that shit and turn it into a nugget. But I'm good. But guys, all right, that's really the end of the show. I know that came out of nowhere. But yeah, man, it is what it is. That was the show for today. I mean, tomorrow we're going to be back. And I work tomorrow, so it's probably going to be a little earlier than this. But we're going to be placing a $5 bet. And we'll do the vote. We'll see who the family votes on. But yeah, that's the new full-time family bankroll. It's going to be fun, I think. Even if it's just $5 a week, we know where our five's on. And like, let's say we have it on fucking Holloway. We're all going to be in here during the fight companion like, let's go Holloway. And like, if he wins, like, we come up. I think this is epic, bro. I love this idea. So salute to the full-time family because that's where we got the idea from. So tomorrow we'll be back, guys. Thank you guys for coming through the show. Salute to the family. As always, it is what it is, man. Let the full-time family know what you think in the comments. And it's UFC 231 weekend. We're going to end this with a UFC 231 song. We'll just do the good verse. Wait, I'm typing in UFC 231. I should be typing in UFC Yankovic. There we go. All right. And we out. Salute everybody. J Skills, Lucian Hella, Stamina MC. Whoever knew FT was fussy about food. Haha. Not as poor as he makes out, clearly. Oh, no. I'm poor, but you gotta eat. You gotta eat where you gotta eat. I mean, I'm not some super chef, right? I didn't grow up with a chef as a parent who was showing me how to chop it up like that. So I eat cheap. I ain't going to Chipotle and Subway, but I'll hit your 4 for $4. You know what I'm saying? Wendy's, the 4 for $4. I feel like that's value. Maybe it's not. But yeah, we out. Salute to Stamina MC. Why can't I hear this? Oh yeah, my headphones are broke. Red.
Be careful, Valentina, they're saying you're pretty confident, but here in MMA I ain't the one that you want a problem with, so stop it, bitch. Or Joanna gon' have to drop a bitch. I ain't about to lose and go out like my homegirl Ronda did. But speaking of losing, how about you with Amanda Nunes? She beat you twice, and for this fight she's teaching I'm the student, never truant. Cause I really wanna beat you, I'ma do it when I do. Please don't go to the media with excuses. I know you beat me in Muay Thai, but this is different. This is more than throwing punches, knees and kicks and clinching. This is more like war. These motherfucking chicks is vicious, and anything goes. I don't fear any of these hoes, not even Rose, Tatiana, Jessica Andrade, or Cyborg. If you're trying to frighten me, then you should try more. When we fight, we'll get it poppin' like July 4th. At UFC 231, you're gonna die, whore. It's the fight game that I adore. I gave up everything to fight these wars, to become the greatest fighter in the world. So I hope you get what you're paying for. Be careful with me. Do you know who you're fighting? About my legacy or about my striking? You might beat these other girls around the world, but they ain't nothing like me. Be careful with me. Yeah. It's not a threat, it's a warning. Be careful with me. Yeah, I'm writing some bad words and your name on a water bottle. Be careful with me. Be careful with me. Shout out to the full-time family. Be careful with me.